Let's talk about Elastic MapReduce. Now, one thing to know is that Elastic MapReduce isn't a single product. It's a collection of products or a collection of open source projects wrapped together in a very manageable, easy to deploy manner. And one of the things that was very confusing to me when I first started learning about EMR was trying to understand all these crazy names and what the products did. And most of these are all open source and you could assemble them yourself. But that's the value add of Elastic MapReduce, is it tries to do all that stuff in an automated fashion, so it's more push button. So what I figure we would do is spend a little bit of time talking through some of the components of a Hadoop landscape so that if you hear these products, you know what they do and what function they serve. So starting in the center, kind of the core is Hadoop HDFS and Hadoop MapReduce. And that's where EMR gets its name. Hadoop HDFS is just the file system that the data gets stored in. It's a certain way of storing files that is conducive to data analytics and data manipulation. MapReduce is the actual framework used to do the processing of the data. Then we have Zookeeper, which is really just involved in resource coordination. It's trying to coordinate all these services to make sure they work together properly. We have Oozie, which is a workflow framework. We have Pig, which is a scripting framework. We have Hive, which is an SQL interface into our Hadoop landscape. We have Mahout, which is a machine learning component. Then we have HBase, which is a columnar database for storing Hadoop data. We have Flume, which is very useful for ingesting application and system logs. We also have Scoop, which can facilitate the import of data into Hadoop from other databases or other data sources. And laying all over the top of this, we have Mbare, which is a management and monitoring console. Just remember that there are two main pieces of Hadoop here, but all the rest of these things are more or less like add-ons. Then you also have companies that provide enterprise support and professional services, and they also contribute to these open source projects as well. Two of the most famous are Hortonworks and Cloudera. So I hope that clarifies a bit the parts and pieces of a Hadoop landscape. So as I said, Elastic MapReduce is really just a managed Hadoop framework for processing lots of data. Now it also supports Apache Spark, HBase, Presto, Flink. These are other open source projects that have various features and benefits. It's most commonly used for log analysis, financial analysis, or anywhere where you have a massive amount of data that you need to process. And especially in situations where you're extracting, translating, and loading the data into another platform. Now in EMR terms, a step is a programmatic task that gets performed on the data. For example, maybe we have a step to count words in a certain document that got sent into EMR. A cluster is a collection of EC2 instances that have been provisioned by EMR to run your steps. And here's what it looks like. We have a master node, and then we have some core nodes, and those core nodes have the HDFS storage, so they can persistently store your data. And then you also can have these task nodes. Think of these task nodes as just worker nodes. Their storage is ephemeral, so you can't store anything on them, but they're just there to work on the steps. And this is how you can scale out EMR to process many, many terabytes of data very fast. Here's the process in a little bit more detail. We have our steps. One could be a Hive script. If you remember, Hive is just an SQL interface into Hadoop. Step 2 may be a custom jar that we've created in Java. Step 3 may be a Pig script, and Pig is just a scripting language that we can use to do stuff in a Hadoop environment. And then at the end, we spit it out into an S3 bucket. So again, you're going to use this for just massive amounts of data. Let's say you need to collect all your logs and then scan through the logs to identify anomalies or problems that you want to flag. EMR is a pretty good way of doing that.